And we move down to the start of the Britannia, the club men's coxed for Seeclub Zürich, Switzerland, and Agecroft Rowing Club. This is the third Swiss crew that we've seen this afternoon. Great to see so many international entries and so much international interest. So if you're watching from Zurich, hello and thank you for joining us in this broadcast of the Henley Royal Regatta Day 1.
What a fast start there, though. So Seeclub went off at 44, and I thought, goodness me, that's quick. They managed to hold together their blade wear. And I looked then across at Agecroft, and they're up at 48. So really, really lightning quick start by both of these fours here. It's going to be interesting to see who's made the best of it at the end of the island. And you can see Agecroft just about surging ahead, 3/4 of a length or so up on Seeclub.
And interesting that you were talking in the race before, Peter, about what it is to know this course and how being an international competitor, even when we've seen stronger crews here, they haven't necessarily been victorious. And we saw some really good steering just as we went past Temple Island from the Agecroft cox. And of course, rowing a coxed boat here at Henley can, I think, be a little bit easier, a little bit more forgiving on people because it is such a different kind of course to race on. The river really has its own life to it, and it's so important to understand that. But here we move to the live shots between these two crews. Agecroft Rowing Club in the buck station on the left-hand side of your screen. Seeclub Zurich, Switzerland on the right-hand side of your screen in the bark station.
So these Agecroft athletes here, they're pretty much the top 4 athletes at Agecroft. So this is the #1 boat from Agecroft Rowing Club. They won the Jackson Pennant at the head of the river, which is essentially the pennant for provincial crews that race outside or train outside of the Thames estuary. So I think we always knew that they were going to be a hot competition here, and Seeclub might be disappointed to have drawn them for the first round of the Britannia Challenge Cup, but Agecroft has just been so competitive all year. I think that this was possibly one that you could have picked right from the start. Winner of this is going to go on to face Thames Rowing Club, who we saw beat Henley Rowing Club by 4 3/4 of a length in the previous round. So I think that next race in this event for the Britannia could be quite a tight one if Agecroft do in fact win here, because Thames will be really tough competition as a next round.
And we can see how powerful this crew from Agecroft is looking in the reddish coloured suits there on the left-hand side. They're really keeping together, I think, quite a bit better than this crew from Switzerland, the Seeclub Zurich.
Which is interesting, actually, because this Seeclub Zurich, that's the under-23 Swiss internationals, which, you know, they competed at Worlds last year, so they're internationally experienced, and I think that they were coming over here perhaps expecting to at least get through a few rounds, but this margin that Agecroft have developed here is just enormous. I don't think that that's something that any crew would be able to come back from.
But the Cox 4 is just such an incredibly tough event to row. It is a much heavier boat than obviously the straight 4, but it even feels, I think, heavier than the 8 as well, which obviously is a bigger boat, but just the sheer weight of having that, you know, 55-kilo coxswain on board with only 4 rowers can make life pretty tough. Coupled then with the head breeze that these athletes are facing on the course today. It's quite gusty as they get up here towards the finish line, so it's certainly hard work. And then on top of that, as you were saying before, Peter, that extra distance, it's not just the standard 2,000 metres, it's just a little bit longer, which does make quite a big difference when you're getting towards the pointy end of the race. And
psychologically, I mean, just that extra 112 metres is a really difficult one for you to contend with, because you'd just be so used to putting in to measuring races by quarters. A lot of crews do that. They look at the first 500, the second 500, third, and then the final 500 where they'd be expected to really lift the rating. But how do you manage your race strategy when you've got an additional 112 metres? Well, that's where you rely on the coxswain to take a lot of the mental stress out of it, so you can focus on your job, and that's clearly what we're seeing here in this Agecroft boat.
And we can see a great performance here by the British crew. It is Agecroft Rowing Club. As they come down towards the line, they're going to take this win in the Britannia in the club men's cox 4 over the Seeclub Zurich from Switzerland. Crossing the line. And a cheer there from the winners, Agecroft Rowing Club over Seeclub Zurich.
Great example of good sportsmanship.